Hey guys, you might see that there is a 100 behind me and you might be asking why it's there. Well, I actually hit 100 subscribers and thought it would be right to celebrate. Now, I didn't know how to celebrate it at first, but I've been doing a lot of short reviews lately, so I only found it fitting that I would review 100 albums in the shortest time possible. Enjoy! Despite the album being named Almost Healed, Durk still manages to make songs on here talking about gun violence. The album starts off strong with Durk attending a therapy session with Alicia Keys as his therapist. It then goes in Pellicoat, which is a nice chill song. Then there's All My Life with the classic rap trope of there being children on the song. We get a nice verse from J. Cole that goes in depth as to whether or not he should retire. I have no problem with him retiring. Knowing the great music he left behind, it's nice knowing he cared for the fans. There's Then Never Again, which is also nice. Then Put 'Em on Ice, which is nice too. But then we get to the song many people called trash. It's Big Dog and I personally enjoyed it. It kinda reminded me of Too Many Nights by Metro Boomin, which is a song I love. There's the Future song, which isn't bad, but I don't think I'll return to it that much. There's Then Sad Songs, which sounds like your typical Lil Durk song but actually isn't that bad. Then there's Before Fodger, which slaps. Then here comes my biggest issue. In the second half of the album it kinda falls off for me. The pedophile line made me dislike War About It. Then I Guess You Got Him is alright, but I might not return to it at all. Durk got carried by Kodak Black on Grandson, which is something I thought I would never say. 300 Euros had an opportunity to be a banger, but the annoying chorus ruined it for me. Same Side is fire. I really like Rob 49 as an up-and-coming rapper. There's Then B12. I didn't like that song too much. Then at this point We're Stuck, which isn't too bad. There's Then Cross the Globe, which kinda sounds like Lemonade by Internet Money. Regardless, I like it. Drew Hill is good. Don't know why people were calling it the worst song. Same with Bell to Ass, which I like too. Then there is Stand By Me, which is a really good pop rap song. And then finally Moment of Truth. It's a great outro. Overall a 5 out of 10. I am very tempted to just call this album mid. Look, I get that he's angry, but it's the same shit he's been making since 2020. And there's a song on here where he disses multiple people. Disses J. Cole for getting a Durk feature, disses Drake for not giving him a feature, disses Lil Yachty for impersonating him, and disses Durk to let people know the beef ain't over. And him calling Yachty the F-slur is very unjustified and is very wrong of him to do so, meaning he's homophobic. We haven't had a rapper like that since 2013 when Eminem used to be homophobic, and I am not for homophobia. Shouldn't we love all our communities? There's no need to throw shots at either of them. Overall it's another 5 out of 10. Piss off.
That shit is fucking trash.
Not on a serious note, this album contains some of the worst guitar riffs and drum solos I have ever heard. Like, after listening to this album I wanted to jump out of a fucking building. Either that or throw my goddamn speaker into the street and watch as someone would run it over. You know what this album exactly sounds like? 4 men in a garage beating on cans thinking there's musical and artistic value out of it. There isn't any. I think the only decent song here is The Unnamed Feeling because I think the guitar riffs are pretty neat. I almost gave this a 0 out of 10 though. Overall a 1 out of 10. There are better Metallica albums out there. Now, I saw a lot of people saying this album was trash, but I'm gonna piss off some people by saying that it's actually not that bad. Some of the songs on here are enjoyable, like Man in the Night, which is one of my absolute favorites. However, the rest of the songs are bad. Like, I get what he was going for. He tried to make Bleach by Nirvana and mostly failed. The vocal mix is rough, and like I said earlier about the Metallica album, the guitar riffs are not that good. It's not completely unlistenable though, if you get my gist. I'm being generous, but this is still his worst album. Look, I love Kendrick Lamar. I really do. But this album is mid. Sure, it could be good if it was executed differently, but it mostly comes off as uninteresting and a filler album in Kendrick's discography. Let's go over the highlights first. I really like the instrumental on Fear. It reminds me of something off of Good Kid Mad City, something I can vibe with and chill to. I like it. DNA is a perfectly executed song. It sees Kendrick rapidly flowing over 2 beats, one of which contains a Rick James sample, and him sampling the news outlet that criticized his performance of the song Alright is really genius. He didn't have to diss them verbally. God used to be my least favorite, but it grew on me as a song. I now think it's beautiful. My personal favorite though, Duckworth. It's really introspective and tells a story of a TDE member going to KFC, and there is a theory that if you play this album in reverse it will blow your mind. However, that was just a theory that gets the album more streams. Now the lowlights. Humble is by far the most popular song on the album, but it's just mid. I already know that made someone click off the video. Yeah is a really boring song that drags on for too long. The beat on XXX is atrocious. And here's a really hot take I have. Element is by far Kendrick's worst song, with the beat being really bad. Yep, I don't care if people disagree with me. That's just how I feel. I put off reviewing this album for a while because I didn't want to piss fans off, but as a Yeat fan this was kinda disappointing. I get the dark aesthetic it was trying to go for, but that made it super interesting. Songs like None I'd Change sounds like it belongs in Cyberpunk 2077, but Yeat's performance isn't really captivating. Also, I do like Back Home quite a bit. It's once again chill and nice to vibe to. Watch reminds me of, surprising to no one, Silly Watch. I didn't like that song all too much, hence why I disliked it. Mean Fiend sounds like it was given to the wrong beat. It sounds like a Drake throwaway beat. However, the intro is fire and how it goes slaps. But this is like a 6 out of 10 for me. There's no doubt about it. This is one of the greatest albums ever created, and it's intriguing throughout its listen. What makes it so interesting are the themes in the songs like Stupid People, Money and Time, which I warn you, do not play the song Time at full volume. The intro will jump scare the shit out of you, but anyways the transitions are smooth as well. Plus the vocals are good too. Hell, even the cover art is good. It's iconic and has stood the test of time. There's nothing bad about this album. It's a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's alright. It's far better than Cottonwood, to be honest. The features are a big step up here, but Lola Brooke and Sexy Red are the only features I don't like. The rest I'm fine with. Ain't Gonna Answer is nothing special. It's just your typical club anthem. Slut Me Out is really bad. The remix disgusts me. Champions is kinda corny. I do like Thug It Out. It kinda sounds like some Take Care shit, not gonna lie. But NLE is still getting those big numbers. While I'm not the biggest fan of the album, I respect his grind. I personally like this. It's a mix of pop rap and actual rap music, and the thing about it, DC the Don's vocals actually sound nice, especially on Hate Being Lonely. The intro might be my favorite, but it's either that or Working on Dying for me. I really do like the production on that one as well. In terms of which one is better, I can get why people would say If Looks Could Kill, but I'm personally going for Funeral. I feel like If Looks Could Kill goes on for way longer than it needs to. That's just my opinion though. Hey, remember when Ray Shremmerd had the world in the palm of their hands in 2015? Yeah, I do too. But those days are long over. The album I'm reviewing flopped, and it's like, who cares about the duo anymore? I mean, I get that Slim Jimmy got arrested and lost his hair, but like, he carries every song, especially on Something I'm Not, where he comes through with a superb verse with the lyricism Swae Lee lacked. The best he can muster up is Bend Your Knees. The fuck is bending your knees? They also attempt to hop on a drill beat where they say they like their lean hot. The fuck's wrong with you? They also hop on a rage beat saying that they feel too many emotions. Overall it's a 5 out of 10. I don't really feel this one. Wow, I have a lot to say about this one. First off, the intro sounds like Kidz Bop, which is never a good thing. There's also a line where Chance says life is short as a midget, but mine's a little LeBron. Bruh, do you remember is not too bad. I think it's fairly decent. Eternal is not bad either. But then we get to the worst song on the fucking album. The boring trap beat doesn't do it justice. Neither does Chance's terrible performance on it. There are a few problematic bars on here but a few stupid ones like I jump stomp on Lucifer, Satan and now I got a few rings on Jupiter skating and I meant to say Saturn, switched up the pattern. He also has an awkward flow when rapping that. It's okay to admit it's ass. Then there are the problematic lines. First we have my lawyer says it's urgent, I'ma call him in an hour. My nigga, if it's urgent then you should call him right away and get the biz on it. When an hour comes along it might get worse from there so treat it before it spreads in a bad way. There's also dude, that shit don't even make no fucking sense like having fucking arguments for paying 50 cents for barbecue. How is it that unfair 50 cents never hurt me? It then continues, saucing on the workers at McDonald's. I don't want to sit and argue, good burger should have taught you. Okay, first off it might be their first day on the job so don't be so harsh. At that point you're probably an asshole. And can you blame them? They're getting accustomed to the restaurant. They learn as they go. Doesn't mean you lash out at them for not knowing how to cook fries. And what good can a movie from the 90s do for a McDonald's worker? Absolutely nothing. The song is forgettable until it gets to DaBaby in which he bodies it and made the other two rappers sound like beginners. There's also We Go High which has worse singing than DaBaby's singing on sad shit. And then out of nowhere there is a collab with an irrelevant 90s band named En Vogue. First off this sounds like some song that will play at the end of a kid's movie. Why the fuck does most of this shit sound like it's for kids? Also En Vogue carry more weight than Chance on here. Sorry, the skit is nothing special. I assume Chance gets into a fight. Anyways we get to Rue which is obviously bad. Then the title track in which we find him yelling for some reason. Why are you so angry dog? Then there's Let's Go on the Run which sounds like it would be on a fucking cooking show. Then there's Handsome in which Megan carries. Then Big Fish in which Gucci Mane carries as well. Then Ballin' Flossin' where he gets Shawn Mendes to say the N-word. I'm not kidding. Then they get the man who made a song for Toy Story to feature on the song. Then there's Get a Bag in which Cowboy carries. My worst nightmare lies in track 17. Nicki Minaj on a Pierre beat. Last time this happened she ruined the beat. Durk on a Pierre beat makes no sense either. Overall confusing. Then there are some Come Down which contains bad singing as well. Then there's Found a Good One which pretty much sounds like this song.
Ooh, I love my wife. I love my wife. Let's go ride a bike with my wife.
Then there's Town on the Hill which doesn't sound too bad. And then finally Zanies and Fools. At this point who cares about the album? 2 out of 10. This shit sucks. This album did really well when it released and it sounds good but my main issue is that some of the songs are too long. You do eventually get adjusted though because there are 2 9-minute songs on here, one being Jesus of Suburbia and the other being Homecoming, not to be confused with Cana's Homecoming. And I know some people will call me edgy for liking this but what's wrong with it? It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. Pretty nice. I got a bone to pick with this album. Not that it's bad, no, it was just a little disappointing. Let's start with Silly Watch. Uzi tries to act tough on this song but really isn't. His image at the time doesn't correlate with that. Plus the beat would have been better if it was given to someone else like Key Glock or Moneybagg Yo. Hell, it would be a bigger hit if Gucci Mane used the beat. Then there's Pop which sounds atrocious. Then You Better Move which is a very standard trap beat that just so happens to have a sample. However I do like the Renji section of the album more. I revisit the melodic tracks way more. And when talking about the deluxe it clearly is better. Except for Money Spread in which gets ruined by Young Nudy. Other than that deluxe is a 9 out of 10 and the original album is probably a 6 out of 10. We all know that at the time of Young Thug releasing this there were 3 albums in Lil Wayne's The Carter series. I think that because of Young Thug's beef with Wayne at the time he decided to troll him by dropping Barter 6 which has nothing to do with Wayne's The Carter series. The 2 songs with Birdman are actually not bad, I will say that. Then we'll just speedrun through the rest of the track list. With That Is a Banger, Can't Tell is fire, Check is fire, Never Had It might be the best song, Dream is fire, Dome is fire, Halftime is fire, Amazing is also good, OD is fire, Numbers is fire, but there is that one questionable lyric about getting prison and doing something questionable to your father and just might be. Consensus is that this album is good, the features are good for the most part, the lyrics are good for the most part, and the cover is good as well. This is a 9 out of 10. This is an essential Kanye album. I feel like it has that feeling of graduating school and moving on with life, going into the real world. Following the trilogy, Kanye dropped out of school, registered into college late, and graduated. As you can see, people are throwing caps in the background. Anyways, let's get into the actual album. The intro will forever be my favorite. It is pretty iconic and contains an Elton John sample. Hell, it might even be his most underrated album intro. Champion's the most slept on song. Stronger's the most overrated song, but still good. It's just not my favorite on the album. I thought the feature on Barry Bonds was okay. Drunken Hot Girls is one of the worst songs I have ever heard. Everything I Am is incredible. Big Brother is a nice tribute to Jay-Z. I also love the outro on this as it closes up the album pretty well. Overall an 8 out of 10. If this was Jay-Z's last album, it would easily be his best, because following this Kingdom Come dropped, and you already know I don't like that album. But on this album he comes strong with sharp lyricism and brass-heavy beats which serve as a bold statement. My favorite song is easily Public Service Announcement. For an interlude, the instrumental is great and I could tell he was proud of this one. For anyone who hasn't heard it, I highly recommend it. 9 out of 10. My biggest issue with this album is how short it is, which contributes to most of the songs. See, most of them are 1 minute long and not all of them are good. This is a very inconsistent track list which goes from a somewhat enjoyable song to a bad song real quickly, and it ends before you can give your thoughts on it. The first 3 tracks do nothing for me. Neither does track 4. It only gets good when it gets to track 6, which actually is enjoyable. Track 7 is also good. It then gets inconsistent again. Track 10 goes hard, then it's inconsistent again. Ryzen is quite enjoyable, and then the rest of it is inconsistent. Overall it could have been a bit longer and structured differently. 4 out of 10. It's a pretty good collection of old Pierre songs that don't really need features. While there mostly are chill songs on this collection, a few hype songs make the mix, like IG and Honeyberry 2. It's kinda hard to pick a favorite though, since all of the songs are good. I might go Honeyberry 2. I might. This isn't the only time I reviewed Pierre on this channel. I also reviewed him back in 2021 when The Life of Pierre 5 dropped. But just know that I'm still tapped into the music. Considering my last Fast and Furious review, the last thing I ever wanted was another soundtrack. And this one might be worse than the last soundtrack I talked about. I mean, look at who's on this soundtrack. When I read most of the names on here, you probably will be confused. Okay, here we go. On this soundtrack is Key Glock, Kai Cenat, Big X the Plug, The Notorious B.I.G., Suicide Boys, Bia, Lunt Tyler, Lil Durk, NBA Youngboy, YG, ESTG, Ty Dolla $ign, Skrillex, NLE Choppa, Babytron, Babyface Ray, and Lil TJ. See? Makes no sense with all these people on it. The Spanish section of the album is mostly full of misses. The chorus on Spinnin' has bad mixing. Key Glock on a funk beat doesn't sound good. The BIA song is not enjoyable. Plus it's only a few seconds long. Overall a 4 out of 10. Only enjoyable songs were Steppers, Superfly, My City, and Reaper. You may remember me reviewing TLOP 5 in 2021 and being introduced to Shark 2 years later. I found out that he actually has some albums produced by Pierre himself. So I decided to check out his most recent one, and boy was it fire. I don't know why I didn't check him out sooner, but I know the beats on this joint are buzzing. His performance is good too. I like how he handles these beats with a more street approach. Overall an 8 out of 10. Go listen to this man.